Hi, welcome to the Improved Garage YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button. So today, I'm going to be starting on a new project. So this is for the Honda Passport. So it's a 2021 Honda Passport. And what I ordered here is a hitch and a wiring harness from eTrailer.com. And I don't have any affiliation or affiliate links or anything like that with eTrailer.com. They have good reviews, good pictures, good information. They tend to have a variety of products. They tend to have really good prices. So I'm a repeat customer of theirs, but I don't get any kickbacks for saying that on camera. So what I chose in this case, so this right here is a draw-tight hitch for the Honda Passports. And it should fit anything between a 2019 and a 2022, anything in the new current generation Passports. I don't know if it fits the Pilot and the Ridgeline, but if you go to their website, eTrailer.com, and you put in your car, it will tell you what it fits. And I will put a link in the description. So they had two different trailer hitches on eTrailer.com, this Draw-Tight and another brand. I ended up picking the Draw-Tight because I thought that it looked a little bit better under the car and it had a little bit higher weight rating. And that being said, the weight rating of the hitch doesn't really change the weight rating of the car on the maximum side, I guess is probably the best way to describe that. So the Honda Passport is rated for up to 5,000 pounds of towing capacity in the United States. And every country has different rules and regulations for what it can and cannot tow, so that is, like I said, in the United States. The factory Honda hitch has a 3,000 pound weight rating, which is why I didn't get a factory hitch. The aftermarket hitch, I believe it was a Kurt Manufacturing, was the other one that was there to choose from, had a 5,000 pound weight rating. And this Draw-Tight has a 6,000 pound weight rating with a 9,000 pound gross tongue weight. Truthfully, that doesn't mean I can tow 6,000 pounds. The car can only do 5,000 in the United States. What that does mean though is that this is not the weakest link in the chain. This is not a 5,000 pound, the car is a 5,000 pound. So my combined towing capacity is 5,000 pounds. But this hitch can actually do more than that, so it's a little overbuilt, and I like that. It was about the same price as the other one, which had the lesser capacity. One of the things that I did like about this hitch is that these chain attachments right here. So I'm going to turn the camera so you can see. So these chain attachments right here are loops, open loops, instead of a sheet of metal with a slot in it. And the reason that I like that is because when you rent trailers, in a lot of cases, they want to put the chain through the loop and come back and double up on the trailer itself. And it's very difficult to do that with certain hooks when you just have the little slot. This also has the mounting area right here for a flat 4 or a 7-pin connector. In my case, I'm going to be doing a flat 4 connector. I don't need a brake controller. I'm not going to be towing trailers that require brakes in most cases. And when I am, it's going to be a U-Haul, which doesn't require a brake controller. Inside the kit, we've got some bolts and washers. We've got an instruction manual on how to get this installed. They rate on their website the difficulty of installation. And this was rated a 3 out of 10. Should be pretty easy to do. And then this is the wiring harness. This is a Kurt wiring harness, and it is what is called a T harness. This fits the 19 through 20 Passport. It actually fit the 21 as well, or the 16 through 21 Pilot. And this is what they call a T harness. And what that means is it plugs into your factory wiring that's already inside the car, and it does not require any sort of splicing or cutting of any factory harnesses, which is really nice. Makes it removable, and it also makes it a high quality installation. And this is a newer thing. This isn't something that, years and years ago wasn't possible to get a harness like that. You had to splice in. But a lot of cars come with a single wiring harness across all models. So, you know, Honda might make a Passport EXL and an EX or an Elite and a whatever. They all have the same wire harness in them. They just might have empty plugs in the rear quarter panel in this case that are not being used. And if you add a factory tow package, they plug into that. Well, the aftermarket can do the same thing. So in this case, I've got a plug to plug in. I have a ground wire that needs to be grounded. And then I've got my flat 4 connector. And I've got a fuse that needs to be added to the factory fuse box. So we'll go through all of this. I'll show you the installation, and it looks like it's going to be pretty easy to do. So hopefully this won't be a difficult one. All right, so here we are in the back of the car, and on the hitch itself, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes. And here we have threaded inserts, and they gave us bolts and washers with the kit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a 22mm socket, which should be the right size, hopefully. Yeah. And I'm just going to run these up and down into the frame and make sure that they go in well. I'm not going to put it on high torque. I'm going to use the number 1 setting, so hopefully I won't have to worry about the possibility of messing up one of the threads. Okay, so the idea here is these holes are going to have paint in them. There could be a problem with the nut that's welded to the inside, something along those lines. I'd rather find that out now than when I'm trying to hold this, 50-pound piece of metal up above my head. So we're just gonna... All right, so we've run all the bolts in and out. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna hold this up and we're going to bolt it into place. All right, so we now have all 6 bolts started, and I'm going to get these tightened up, and then we'll get them torqued. All right, and you need to kind of center this left to right on the back of the car. So what I'm doing is just kind of adjusting the holes on both sides, making it so that it's centered on the back of the vehicle. So it looks like I want to just see a very small portion of the hole on this side and on that side. So on the inside, you want to see a small portion of the hole. Okay, so we have our torque wrench. We're set to 89 foot-pounds. So there's that one. There's that one. Okay, so there we are, 6 bolts in at 89 foot-pounds. So here we can look at our finished product. I think it looks pretty good. One of the things that I like, even though it's the lowest point on the back of the car, it's not low by much, and it is still higher than the center, like the rear differential area. So it doesn't seem like it's low enough that it's going to get caught on any curbs or anything like that, so the height seems good. Now, we have this in, so the next thing that we need to worry about is the harness, the physical wiring harness. So let's work on that together. So we're looking for a white harness plug that is on the driver's side of the vehicle. It's actually like right here. So what we want to do is we want to remove this pocket right here. So it's got a snap here, a snap on the back, and a snap on this side. So you can kind of squeeze it and pull up on it, and you'll get under it like that. When this comes up, there's a white harness that you can reach with your hands right there. And that's what we're looking for. This harness right there. So we're going to take this control module that has its own harness, and we're going to plug that into this harness, which you can see right there. And it only goes in one way. So, just like that. Now, in here we need to install a fuse. And this fuse would be the first one to blow if you were to have a problem. It's inside the bag. So this one right here, we'll get this installed. Okay. We're on. Now, what we should do is we should follow the factory harness down here, right? So this is up here, we know where that is, in case we ever need our fuse. And what we can see is there's a harness right here. So I'm going to use these zip ties and I'm going to attach to that. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we need to get under here so that we can round this in. Okay, so I'm just going to put all this stuff in this bucket here. We have our rubber mat, which I folded forward. And we're going to lift this up. And if you lift it again, move this out of the way, there's actually a hook under here. This guy right here. So we pull this out, and that allows us to hook that up there, which keeps it up. So, let's remove this tray. So there's a quarter turn here, and then this just lifts out. Okay, so here's what we're looking at. Now, our harness is over here. So we need to figure out how we're going to run these cables and where we want everything to end up. And personally, I want it to end up along this back wall here. Okay, so we've got our harness and it's running its place. We've got this control module, which we're going to two-way tape or double-sided tape right here out of the way. And then we've got this last wire, which is a ground, and we've got this 4-wire harness. So at this point, we can snap our bucket back into place right here. Get this out of the way, just like that. Let's take this and let's put some double-sided tape on it. Okay, so inside the kit, you'll find this double-sided tape. It looks like this, and you can peel off the back, and we'll stick it to the unit like that. And then we'll peel off the front, and we will stick the unit to the wall like that. And just make sure that you're on a flat surface so it sticks really well, just like that. And now we're good. Now, this is a ground wire, and this number 10 bolt is a really good position for ground. So we're going to use that as our grounding surface. So I'm going to go grab a 10 millimeter and we'll take that out. Take this out. So here we are. We've got our power pack mounted. We've got our ground connected. We've got our slack zip tied. Get this out of the way. And now we need to make a call. Do we want to penetrate the body with this and put this outside or not. Now, in my personal opinion, I'm going to leave this inside the vehicle. So I'm going to roll up the slack, I'm going to put it in the back of the car, and when I want to use it, I'm just going to shut it in the back of the door, and I'll use a rag to protect this back bumper from getting scratched up. And the reason for that is because that's going to keep this guy from getting all corroded and beat up. I don't use it very often. I'm only going to tow a trailer with this maybe, you know, a dozen times in the 3 years that I'll own it. So I don't really need this to be accessible all day, every day, because I'm not using it all day, every day. So I'm deciding not to. If you did decide that you want it to be outside, this is all accessible from the bottom. You can very easily drill a hole to put this through. It needs to be a decent sized hole because you have to fit this whole head through there. And the other side isn't any better. It's got a big pack. So I'm just going to tie up this slack in the back of the vehicle. So for now, let's get this out of the way like this. And let's put our tray back in here. The cable itself, you want it to come through over here, avoiding this slot, avoiding this area, and avoiding this slot, so that you can shut this rear section like that. And then when you're ready to use this, we can shut it in place like that, and that gives us our whip up above our floor. Now, all right, so we're gonna open the hood, and in the underhood fuse box, which is right here, we are going to insert a fuse in the one that says trailer main. So this fuse comes with the kit. It's a 30 amp fuse, and it goes right here in my passport. So we installed that. We can put this in place, and then we will be able to test our kit and see that it works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw on my 4-ways. So they're blinking like so. Alright, so with the 4-ways on, what I should see is a solid light in the first, which is tail, because the tail lights are always on. This one should blink, and this one should blink. Left and right turn signals. So there we go. So our wire harness is now installed, everything is working, and we are good to go. Alright, so the very last thing that we care about is the ball, and specifically the height of the ball off the ground. Now, there are a variety of different ways to measure trailers depending on the trailer manufacturer and how they set the standard. When you're talking about this ball mount, there is a rise and a drop, and it's measured from the top of the receiver, which is right here where my finger is. So this one in particular has a 3/4 inch rise or a 2-inch drop if it's flipped the opposite direction. Now, I don't own a trailer currently. I've owned many trailers in my life. Right now I don't own a trailer because I just honestly don't use it very often. So primarily I'm towing a U-Haul trailer. U-Haul has a recommendation that your ball height is between 18.5 and 18.75 inches from the center of the ball to the ground without the trailer connected. So in order to achieve that on the Honda Passport, which is pretty reasonable for most trailer rentals, that includes Home Depot and some others that you might deal with. And you know, for a vehicle like this, that's probably what the person who's buying it is doing. Like, you probably don't own a trailer, you're probably renting a trailer. What you want for that is a 3/4 inch rise like this, 3/4 inch rise. This has a 1-inch hole, which is this hole right here where the ball is mounted. And you want this short little one. It has a 7,500 pound gross weight rating, 750 pound tongue weight, which exceeds the weight capacities of the vehicle. And this is the one to get. It doesn't stick out too far from the vehicle and raise your tongue weight tremendously. With the 3/4 inch rise and a standard 2-inch ball on it, I'm just a hair over 18 3/4. I'm like maybe 18 7/8. to the middle of the ball. So that's about as close as you're going to get to that rating that U-Haul gives you. And that's going to give us the weight carrying capacity that we need. And yeah, so I think that that's a really good fit. This is a Curt receiver. It's a 2-inch drop, 3/4 rise. So that's really it. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. I will say all in, it's under $400 to have your vehicle completely ready to tow, between the harness, the receiver, the ball mount, the ball, everything all said and done. And it took me less than an hour to install it from start to finish. So it's totally doable by literally anybody. So thank you and have a great day.